It was supposed to be an ordinary morning, just another day of mopping floors and emptying trash cans for Ethan Walker, a quiet janitor in a towering corporate building. But that day, his trembling hands accidentally poured water on the CEO's laptop, a mistake that should have cost him his job instantly. Yet what appeared on that screen before it short-circuited changed everything. That he froze, staring at the files that popped up, names, numbers, and one folder with his own daughter's photo inside. For a split second, time stopped. The CEO's scream echoed through the office, but Ethan wasn't hearing it. All he could think was, why was his daughter's face on her laptop? That question was the beginning of something that would change both of their lives forever. Ethan Walker was a man who lived in silence. Every day before sunrise, he packed lunch for his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, braided her hair, and walked her to school. Then he changed into his blue janitor uniform and rode an old bicycle to work. He was invisible to the people around him, a shadow moving through the polished glass hallways of Grayson Enterprises, one of the most powerful tech companies in the country. But inside, Ethan carried a heavy weight. He wasn't always a janitor. He had once been an engineer, a brilliant one, until a tragedy took away his wife and his career. Now, he worked nights just to pay for Lily's school fees. The CEO, Victoria Grayson, was everything he wasn't. A sharp, elegant woman in her mid-30s, she commanded every room she entered. Her company had recently suffered a huge cybersecurity breach, and she'd been under massive pressure to find the leak. She barely noticed the people cleaning her offices, least of all the quiet janitor who mopped her floors each morning. That day, the building was unusually tense. Security guards were stationed everywhere, executives whispered in corners, and Victoria hadn't left her desk for hours. Ethan quietly entered her office to refill the water dispenser and wipe the glass tables. She was typing furiously, her eyes fixed on a glowing laptop screen filled with code, spreadsheets, and confidential reports that he didn't want to disturb her. But when he leaned forward to clean the corner of her desk, his elbow brushed the water bottle, and in one horrifying instant, it tipped over, spilling straight onto her open laptop. "No," she shouted, springing from her chair. Ethan froze, panic shooting through his chest. "I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'll pay for it. Do you have any idea what you've done?" she snapped, grabbing the dripping laptop. But then her eyes caught something strange on the screen. For a split second before it shut off, an image had appeared, a little girl's photo, smiling. Victoria blinked. "Wait, who is that?" she asked sharply. Ethan turned pale. "That's my daughter, Lily." She stared at him, confused, then turned toward her assistant. "Get me the backup drive. Now." Moments later, they plugged the drive into another computer. Victoria scrolled through folders, research archives, personal projects, orphan care, employee family data. And there, under one subfolder labeled Project Dawn, were hundreds of pictures of children, and among them, Lily's face. Ethan stepped forward, his voice trembling. "Why is my daughter's photo on your company server?" Victoria's expression shifted from anger to disbelief. "That's impossible," she whispered. "These files were hidden. I didn't even know this existed." The room fell silent except for the faint hum of the computer. That night, Victoria called Ethan into her private conference room. The office was dark except for the city lights outside. She looked different now, less like a CEO, more like a human being weighed down by confusion. "I ran a full trace on that folder," she said quietly. "It was created by someone in my R&D division 2 years ago, around the same time we launched our new child health monitoring software." Ethan frowned. "Lily was in a hospital then," he said. "She had a heart condition after my wife's accident." Victoria's eyes widened. "That's how they got the data," she said. "Our old medical partner must have used real patient files to train the algorithm. It's illegal and unethical." Ethan's hands clenched into fists. "You're telling me my daughter's private medical records are in your system, and you didn't know?" "I swear I didn't," she said. "But I'm going to find out who did this." For the next few days, Ethan helped her. He had a knack for technology that surprised her. He wasn't just a janitor, he was an engineer with a deep understanding of coding systems. Together, they traced the data back to a corrupt senior developer who had secretly sold confidential information to investors to boost the company's valuation. One night, as they worked side by side, Victoria glanced at Ethan. His uniform was stained, his hands rough, but his eyes were sharp and focused. "You should have been working in this department, not cleaning it," she said softly. He smiled faintly. "I used to. But life doesn't always let you choose your title." She fell silent. For the first time, she saw him not as a janitor, but as a father, and a man who had lost everything yet still kept going. Finally, after days of sleepless work, Ethan found a piece of code buried deep in the system. "This is it," he said. "If I remove this line, it'll reveal who accessed the files last." Victoria nodded. "Do it." He pressed a few keys, and the monitor flashed. The screen displayed a name, Marcus Vane, Chief Operations Officer. Victoria's jaw tightened. He had been her right-hand man for years. "He's been selling our data to medical investors," she whispered. "He betrayed everything this company stood for." She stood there for a long moment, breathing heavily. Then she turned to Ethan. "Thank you. If you hadn't poured water on my laptop that morning, I would have never known any of this." Ethan gave a small, tired laugh. "Guess some mistakes happen for a reason." The next week, Marcus was arrested. Victoria publicly announced the breach, took full responsibility, and credited an unidentified staff member for discovering it. But she didn't stop there. She called Ethan to her office once again, this time, with a smile. "I'd like to offer you a job," she said. "Officially. In our R&D department." He blinked. "You mean, as an engineer?" She nodded. "As the man who saved this company." For the first time in years, Ethan's eyes filled with tears. "I don't know what to say." "Say yes," she replied warmly. "You've earned it." He did. Months passed. Ethan now wore a badge with his name on it, Ethan Walker, Lead Systems Analyst. He no longer carried a mop, but he still came early to watch the sunrise with Lily before work. She'd run into his arms each morning, proud of her dad and Victoria. She'd often stop by his office just to talk. She had grown close to both Ethan and Lily, finding in them something she hadn't felt in years. Family. One evening, as the three of them stood on the company rooftop watching the city lights, Victoria smiled. "Funny how one small accident can change everything," she said. Ethan looked at her, then at his daughter. "Yeah," he said softly. "Sometimes, what feels like the worst moment of your life is just life turning the page." The wind brushed through their hair, carrying away the echoes of old pain, and leaving behind something new.